welcome back to Studioloo. It's Cindy. So I'm here today to just give you a little mini update on Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, the second block of the 6-month challenge. I think this is going to be sort of a short little video. I'll show you a couple other things to just kind of supplement this video because I haven't been doing like a lot of stitching relating to this project, but I do have other stitching going on, but I'm going to kind of streamline and keep that as part of other videos series that I'm working on. So I still haven't created anything for the inside covers yet. I'm thinking about what I want that to be. This is just a recap on my title page, my sampler, and then this was block 1. So what I decided to use as my page for putting blocks 2 and 3 and 4 on is this. This is a vintage napkin. I probably should iron it. It does have a nice kind of trim on it, and I thought it would be a nice little page. I want to make all my pages a little different. This one I used like this nice gray linen. So this one is going to house that block. This is my other piece for the next block that will be coming out, and I need to actually get another piece because I like to stitch double probably, but we'll see. So then also, I don't know if you remember, but I'm also doing the 52 buttons, 1 button a week 2022. I am 2 buttons behind, but I did finish week 5, which was rain, and it's this little cutie. So this is from a book called Itty Bitty Raindrop, and it's a 1948 book, and I just laminated it onto balsa and stitched it on there. There are some close-up photos of this sweet pea on my my Instagram. So far we've done this is texture. I made this one out of sandpaper. This is winter. This is a wooden button from my apple tree that I painted white, and then I put some embossed sparkle on, and then this was stripes, and I chose to use a piece of paper for this one to kind of go along with the journal theme, and this was sparkle, and this is like super highly compressed tin foil. So that's going to be another page I'm going to add into this Journal of Stitchery. Now here is my block for block 2. This was neutral backgrounds and, you know, fabulous florals or just beautiful flowers. So I just kind of played around with this. I was toying with the idea of doing a lot of like floral embroidery. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of just amazing embroidery of flowers and stuff, and it's actually not that complicated. But I just kind of decided to kind of go with the flow of what I was enjoying doing at the time. And I feel like slow stitching for me, it's like a time to just relax. I do it, you know, in the car. I do it like in bed. I just, it's kind of like something I don't want to spend a lot of time super focused on. And I feel sort of like a lot of this embroidery, anyone can do it. You just need to take the time. There's so many good tutorials out there. So really just do what you love. You don't need to be pushing, you know, to impress anybody. Do what makes you comfortable, what keeps your hands comfortable. Not to say you shouldn't learn new things. Definitely go out there and learn and be inspired by people and, you know, go do what you love is I guess what I'm trying to say. So what I love, I think, so far is making use of just beautiful textiles, vintage things that I've kept in my stash, and then doing little bits and bobs here and there. So all that being said, my neutrals in the background consisted of some of my eco-printed fabric that didn't have very well-defined plants on it. It was more experimentation with plants that I didn't really know if they would print, and many of them just kind of did some mark making because the tannin isn't strong throughout the leaf. It's just strong in certain parts. So it wasn't fabric that I was like super attached to. So I knew I could use it because I like the color of the mordant. It gives it like a kind of golden tone, so it would be a good background. And then I added a bit of some silk, and I added, this is a little bit of calendar, and this is from a vintage tea towel, you know, the ones that you can, that used to be made. They would usually be like a tourist type purchase. At the top they would have sort of something like, you know, London and a picture of London, and then below it would have the year's calendar. I love getting those at the thrift store. They are so nice, and they're typically linen, and so they're a really nice background. I added a beautiful doily that I've been kind of hoarding, and I had cut half of it off to make a journal pocket, so I kind of had this half. So popped that back there for a bit of texture. Then a bit of like nude colored lace and just some nice kind of cream linen, and this kind of, you know, slightly light chocolatey brown linen. And then on top, so this is some beautiful roses from a vintage tablecloth that I have. It has some coffee staining on the white surface, but it's completely covered in these beautiful flowers, and I just love it. I didn't even stitch on top of it because I just love it so much. And then this is a bit more vintage tea towel, these leaves. This is from a vintage tea towel as well, and this is like my precious. I love this tea towel. I've been putting little bits of it in different things. I used it in I have like a textile tome journal in my shop that like uses a lot of it on the inside as like the end paper, kind of like the end fabric. So it's beautiful. And then this is like a woven green leaf, and I've blanket stitched around it. This is a silk flower, and I did do some French knots and pistol stitches on top of it. And then I just did a twisted back stitch to create these little branches and some little bullion leaves, little green bullion leaves, that was from like a nice DMC kind of mixed greens. I wanted to add a bit of sparkle and stuff in here, but I didn't. I've also come to the decision that I just don't like DMC's sparkly embroidery floss. It's so splitty and tangly. Like I'm going to use it with beeswax. I'm going to try some other methods. I'm just really not a fan of when you have to like work so hard to make something that's designed for something work for you. It just shouldn't be that hard. I think they really should have put a cotton core in there or something to kind of bind it together. I don't know. I'm thinking like the yarn spinner that I am, and just thinking about how string needs to be dynamic for the purpose it's designed for. So like when someone is embroidering, they don't need to have splitty ends getting all kind of, you know, tangled up. Like it's just a frustrating experience, right? So let's not do that. Then I added a little bit of these cute little flowers. This is actually a branch off of like a linen, like a vintage piece of linen that for the longest time I kind of hoarded it with all of these big pink flowers. It was all in this big cloth, and I added sequins and beads, and the whole concept was that I was going to add it on the bottom of this really pretty skirt. It was going to be kind of like, not flamenco in its shape, but kind of in its colors and in its style. And then I put it on my mannequin, and I wasn't really sewing a whole lot then, and I also didn't really use my sewing machine. So it would have been an effort in hand stitching, and I just never delivered on the project. So for the longest time, this skirt just sat on my mannequin in my little studio cubby where I keep my spinning wheels. And one day I just looked at it and I'm like, what am I even doing? I'm not going to wear this skirt ever anymore. It's not my style anymore. So I took it all apart and I thought, I'm going to use these lovely pieces. So I used the stem here. And then now we're getting into a little bit more embroidery kind of stuff. So I used a little silk leaf from a silk flower, like the backing of a silk flower, and then just did a few little loose kind of bullion-y type stitches in the middle. And then up here, I just kind of wanted a bit of an interesting looking flower to go on top. So I did this. It actually kind of stands up. It's this technique that I don't know what it's called, but like it starts out with weaving kind of. You've got, not weaving, but like it's almost literally like crochet. So you've got like, you know, say you have 4 loops beside each other. You're going to put your needle inside each one, wrap your thread around and go through it and then pull it tight. So it's like you're creating a knot across the surface. Then you turn back and you do it again and back and again and back and again. And then you can also, what I did here was I had, I think 6, then I went to 5, then I went to 4, then I went to 3. So it's like you're decreasing, just like if you were knitting or crocheting, right? You're making a shape. So that's like free form really for me. I didn't look at instructions to do that. I was just playing around. Then I made these this long leafy kind of petals just by wrapping the thread around my fingers. Then you have a loop, and then you kind of cinch it in the middle, wrap the embroidery floss around it, and kind of bend it in half, and then just hold it up here to your cloth, and you've got your loops. Then you just stitch through that part that you wrapped around the middle, and that will attach it to the cloth, and then do it all the way across. I think I put 5 sections here, and then I went in and clipped all the loops and trimmed it down a bit. So that's how that was created. So I'm going to be putting that on here, and I don't know if I want to have another backing cloth or not. I did that over here. I added like a background cloth to the sampler, but I didn't do it for the blocks. I almost think I don't need it for the blocks because they're busy on their own. So I may blanket stitch this on. It might look nice, but I may not. I don't know. So yeah, upward and onward. I'm ready for the next project for this. I think I'm excited to get going on that. So that is all I have to share for the actual Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. But I'll show you a couple other kind of textile fibery type things just for the heck of it. If you didn't see my Impressionism Journal video, I show how to make this. This is all made from sheep's locks that I've dyed, and I'm working on an Impressionism Journal that's all Impressionism themed and colored. And so I've been kind of making those. And I just made a second one yesterday, and I used a little bit of a different technique. I added some of this really sparkly, beautiful wool that has Angelina fiber in it, and I really love these colors, and I just put this in as the backing. So that's going to be another journal. I'm probably going to make a few of these because I have some fiber arts shows coming up. My plan for today is to get going on this one. This will be the inner lining, and this is the outside in these beautiful colors. So I'll be working away on that. And then this morning, in the early morning, I had a little bit of time to myself, so I spun some yarn. I just had a really nice morning. I think I'm trying to rebuild up my my yarns for my shows that are going to be coming up in the summer. So in the early wee hours of the morning when I'm awake and my children are asleep, I have started spinning in the morning so I can get a couple of yarns kind of spun. I'm going to ply them today, and hopefully that will help me to kind of build up my little army of yarns before I have shows, because I've definitely kind of gone through a lot of yarn. My shop has been actually quite active with yarn purchases, which has been really nice because I am still getting accustomed to, you know, since the whole world changed and we can't all be together and what that means for my business. And so it's nice because people continue to support me and my little family and our little business. So yeah, that I think is it for me for now, but I will be back with something else fun, and I really hope that you're having a lot of fun doing your stitching too. I'm looking at all your projects on Instagram, and I'm completely floored with the beautiful work that we're all doing. So I just want to say have a good day, and yeah, stitch on, and we will talk soon. You can find all of my information down below in the description box. If you haven't yet subscribed, please come on, subscribe, hang out with me, drop me a like, and then, you know, more people will be a part of our community and we can all kind of chat and have a nice time here. So anyways, I'm going on. Have a great day. Bye for now.